back in Torrevieja today, and we've got some breaking news, and it's another lovely day, blue sky, 22 degrees. So just to give you an update on the case, just before Christmas, a week before Christmas, a bloke from Ireland had travelled over here with friends to have a little break and a party, and it all went apparently wrong, and he called his father every single day. And when the father never received the regular calls, and the last call was a bit suspicious, he obviously knew something was going on. He flew over, his family all come over out, and they tried to hunt down on what went on. And it turned out that they were informed that his son had been murdered, but it wasn't disclosed where the body was put or hidden. So they was actually doing a meet-up every day for a whole week or so, looking for the body in all these wastelands and orchards and all over the place. And it wasn't until over a week of searching they actually got a tip off, and they found his body in a lemon orchard in Rojales, in this part of Spain near Torrevieja. And he apparently been shot and stabbed and badly beaten. So the story goes they arrested one person who was involved in it, and he's been to court several times, but there were two main suspects, and a man and a woman that actually fled, and there was an international arrest warrant for them because there were rumours they'd gone to Thailand. And anyway, it'd been 3 months, and eventually the father, who's been doing all the hunting and searching and pushing all the authorities here in Spain, the police and everybody, was saying there was a lot of lack of support from the police, even involved the Irish police there in Ireland. He got a tip off that they were in Portugal, and he went over to Portugal and checked out where they was actually staying, and apparently the rent was paid up in this apartment up to June. He informed the local police about the situation and the national arrest warrant. It was informed to fly back to Ireland and leave it to the police and don't do nothing. In the meantime, these two suspects are now been arrested. So yeah, there is a bit of a closure to the case. So that's a bit of good news for the family. So yeah, suspects on the run for 3 months have finally been caught. But we've got other kind of news going on as well. As you know, everyone's buying apartments to rent and make money here in Spain, all these second homes. And Spain's going nuts about it because of the rental places are taking up all the places for the people who actually want to live. And yet they've finally done something. April, it's all happening, new laws again. And as I reported before about tourist licences, you could only get them for 5 years now, where they were forever. Before you get a tourist licence, it will stay on the property forever. But now it's all changed. The tourist licence is only for 5 years. And if you apply for a tourist licence, within 3 months, you've got to start renting it out, otherwise you could lose it. And every 5 years, you've got to apply before it runs out. However, the new law now says, with 43 areas in Malaga that have banned any Airbnbs and rentals for the next few years because of the problems down there. And with Barcelona the same. By 2027, they reckon they're going to ban all rentals. In Spain, they've come out with a new law now, and they're saying it's down to individual areas, communities, to vote in the AGM whether you're allowed to have a tourist rental next year. So that is the new law that's just coming out, literally in about a week's time. So if you're buying a tourist apartment for a rental, you've got to be careful, because you might not get the rental for it. So you're going to have to do all the checks with the community, and hopefully that it gets voted on, you're allowed to rent it. However, but for the other people that have already got a tourist licence, there ain't nothing to worry about, because their tourist licence stay there forever. However, when you sell the property, before it used to carry on, it no longer carries on. So yeah, big crackdown on tourist rental, and they had to do something about it, because we've got all these demonstrations planned as well. Got another story for you, and it's back to squatting again. And yes, squatting here in Spain is horrendous, especially if you actually live next door to squatters. Can be even worse, because they're already breaking the law by breaking into the places and don't really care. And I know the police don't bother with anything. Well, this is a story from my friend, and he's got nightmares. He's actually rented a place next door to squatters. He wasn't aware of this, and they've got a dog that literally barks day and night, 24 hours. And they're never there. The dog's just always barking constantly. It doesn't matter how many times he reports it to the Spanish RSPCA over here. they're just not really bothered. And not only has that become annoying and frustrating, he's got the house is actually wired up to the back. They're actually squatting into their father's house and running electric illegally. Of course, squatting, you're not paying no electric, you're not paying anything. And this property actually belongs to the bank. It's not actually a person's own property. And because it belongs to the bank, I suppose they're not really bothered either. Where if it was a person's property, they'd have been on the case straight away. So it's a bit like a bank repossession. So the story don't end now, because it's not only got all the exodus, people coming and going during the night and barking dogs. There were a group of them turned up the other day, and he couldn't believe his eyes. They actually had a big sawn-off shotgun. And yeah, he panicked because he's not only got these next door, and he's got this big sawn-off shotgun. He made a flippant comment to him, and it didn't go down very well, because one of them didn't understand a bit of English, and the next minute he confronted him and spat in his face and basically threatened him. So he was a bit terrified, and naturally reported it to the local police. Well, actually the 112 here, which has English translators. So he did report what he saw, and he was a bit terrified, and the shotgun and everything. And the police never turned up. So after an hour he rung again, still never turned up. And then he rung again, literally rung 3 times, waited up all night through the early hours of the morning. And now a week's been passed and there's still no police turned up. So I don't know what it is with the police in Spain, whether they are racist against the British, but this is the proper 112 call line. Neighbours with a sawn-off shotgun. And yeah, didn't turn up. It just baffles me really what is going on here in Spain, because this is pretty serious. Who knows what they're going to be doing with a shotgun? They already don't care about the law and what crimes they might commit. So yeah, I don't know. Nevertheless, he's terrified, and he quickly looking for a new rental place, because he doesn't want to be living next door, because now he's terrified of him and his wife. Anything can happen any time. So yeah, squatters have got their own laws here in Spain, and they reckon they're dumbing out with all these rules of kicking them out in 48 hours. I think the police need to turn up within 48 hours. Literally in the first 10 minutes if someone's got a shotgun. I don't know what your thoughts about that. But meanwhile, Playa de Cura's bloody banging here, isn't it, eh? Beautiful day again. So yeah, we've got other bits of news going on. So yeah, we've got a bit of good news. You can see the sun's out, the weather's here to stay, summer's kicked in, it's only going to get warmer. But it wasn't good news for the bars and restaurants in the Murcia region, because they lost 40% of their trade because of all this rain and storms we've had, Storm Martio. And not only that, on Tuesday they actually had hailstones come down. So yeah, all the bad weather's passed and the good weather's here. So if you like the old solar system and the sun and the moon eclipse and all that kind of business, we've got some really good news for you, because here in Spain you're going to see partial eclipse here, and we've even got the date when it's going to happen. And they're saying it's March the 29th, so yeah, a few days away. You're going to see partially obscured by the sun, and they reckon it's going to create a bright, breathtaking event, and it's going to be seen all over Spain. They're saying, unlike a total eclipse, ain't gonna like darken the sky or anything like that, but you're gonna see this beautiful, spectacular shadow of the sun. So yeah, we've even got a time. So if you really want to go and see this, stick your head out, and all the areas in Spain, if you're in any of these locations, these are the times you're going to be able to see it. And they're saying on the Iberian Peninsula, the western cities, they're going to see it first, and that's going to be at 10 in the morning, and that's Madrid and Barcelona around about 11 o'clock, and the Canary Islands are going to be seeing it just after 11 to up to 12 o'clock. So yeah, you'll be able to see this wonderful event, the old eclipse, a couple of days time. And if you've ever been down to St Pedro, Mar Menor, as you know, some of the beaches do get a bit ruined with these storms lately, with the seaweed and all the problems they've got. But they've been working really hard, and they've been dumping loads of sands on the beach. I reckon over 1,500 kilograms worth of sand's been dumped. Get the beaches all ready for the coming weeks. They reckon there is some areas they've had to cordon off because of sinkholes. Yeah, they've got sinkholes like 10 metres deep, so they've had to put barriers around the sinkholes while they're doing these repairs. But yeah, it's all looking good down on the Marmanor. All the beaches are getting ready, and yeah, everyone's getting ready here, aren't they? It's nice, isn't it, when the sun's out? Get the old vibe. But the old crooks have been at it again, yeah, and nicking the old cables and for the copper and all that. And this is down in Balioed there. They've been stripping all the coppers and cables that have been used for all these areas in Spain. 1,600 kilograms of copper they've been taking, and they've arrested 17 people that were involved in it. And where they've been scrapping it as well, they've been doing scrapping, as you know, you've got to have all the proper paperwork and everything. There is 8 people they've arrested in the scrapping plant. They're all part of this kind of wheeling and dealing with this dodgy theft of copper cables, and they're all on commission. Even one of the managers were on commission as well, so they all knew this stuff was stolen. And it was getting used for all kind of different places in Spain. One of the places they were stealing it from was actually for solar panel plant, and then it was electric gas stations and pumping stations. So yeah, brand new copper tubing pipe straight to the scrapyard. But good news is they've arrested the 17 people involved. They were using rental cars as well to transport all the stolen goods. Of course, they had in connections with all kinds of other crime as well, fraud, money laundering, the usual stuff that goes on here in Spain. But yeah, the good news is 17 more caught. Got another story for you. This is a real bad one. I just can't get how people can do this to animals, cruelty to animals. And yes, a woman is alleged to have chucked her 2 little Yorkshire Terriers out of a tower block window. She got fed up with them yapping and didn't want to take them to a walk. So she said, you know what? I'm not going to take them to a walk, I'll just chuck them out the window. And of course, the poor little things never survived. And not only that were they chucking the dogs out the window, they were chucking loads of other things out the window as well. And they were reported by people around, neighbours and all sorts of people were reporting it to the police, all what went on. So there was loads and loads of witnesses. And yep, she is up in court, cruelty to animals. How could you throw dogs out the window? It's absolutely horrendous. These people should be locked up for a long time. There we go. Do you fancy going up in one of those? Cool, summer season's here. This is what goes on in Spain. Paragliding, waterboarding, jet skis, the full works. Iron by the harbour, that's where you'll get the kiosks. Unless you go up by the marina, you can go out on a boat there. So yeah, it's not expensive. All kind of sports activities going on. But yeah, nice to see people on the beach again. We had a horrendous march. One of the worst marches I've had for years. Always breaking records here, aren't we? The hottest, the wettest, the coldest. But thank goodness it's gone. And the blue sky's back and summer's back. Just in time for Easter holidays. And we got another case where the police have been busy because there was a bloke that had been on the run since 2019. British national, 36 years old. And he was hiding out in Tenerife. Just before he was about to board the old plane in Tenerife, it flagged up on the old system, international arrest warrant. Of course, drug offences, and he'd been on the run all that time, 5 years. And yep, swiftly arrested. And he was wanted for a major drug trafficking case in Madeira and Portugal in 2019. But yeah, he's been caught and he's banged up. And yeah, it wasn't a small amount of drugs either he was caught for doing. It was 11,465 kilos worth of it. Of course, it's all drugs here, isn't it, eh? But they're always cracking them, but just too many of them. Too many cases going on here in Spain. And I'd just like to say a big thank you as well for the coffees from John and Philip and from Martine. Really appreciate all the coffees been buying me and supporting the channel. And you like the content, so yeah, that is really great. And also remember, if you did want to become a channel member, you can become a member like my other channel members below in the description, and you'll get early access to all the videos before they actually go public. So yeah, everyone chilling out by the benches. Of course, this bench here, I love Torrevieja. It's only been here a few months, but yeah, they love having their photo done with it. And then you had more benches that are added over there as well. And of course, all the improvements are coming in for summer. We just need the toilets to be open over there, and we'd be away, wouldn't we? Be able to use the toilets. I do get asked by a lot of people, where's the cheapest place to get a pint? To be truthful, the only place you're going to get a cheap pint nowadays is in Benidorm, which would be about €1. And you don't quite get a pint, as you know, it's just short of a pint, so they don't do the old measures down there and check things out. Here you do get a pint, but the average pint you'd expect to pay here in Torrevieja, even along the promenade, is €2.50. I mean, that ain't bad for a pint of beer, considering you can pay up to €7 now in some parts of England. As you know, it's all going up all the time. And if you're looking for a price of wine, I say the average of that can vary. You got some good quality wine they dish up in some places. I mean, if you talk about €1.50 to €2.50 for a wine. So these are the prices you expect to pay here in Torrevieja along the front. Of course, you go around the back streets, you get a lot cheaper. But there's no need to hunt around for a cheap bar to get a cheap pint when you're talking about just over €2.50 for a decent beer. Look, you can come and sit here in the sun, chill out, and watch the world go by. And that's what a lot of them do most days. What I find quite funny is you've got the new boundary markers there in yellow to mark out the chairs and tables. They've even got the markers there to chain up your bike. Absolutely lunacy. Meanwhile, this Mr. Looky here can take up as much room as he likes. Of course, the police do walk along here, but all the spotters see them come in and they just walk to the side. Yesterday, a police car come down here and drove along, and literally the people selling glasses and stuff would just stand at the side. The police just looked at them and just carried on driving along, just to make it look like their presence is here. But don't get me wrong, these looky are doing nothing too bad. They're giving all these tourists good old prices on the old dodgy gear, and some of it's really, really good quality. It's just that it pees off the people who actually got the shops and paying all the business rates and everything. So yeah, Torrevieja. Coming up to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, as you can see, everyone chilling out, enjoying themselves. So that's today's video, the latest news. Hope you enjoyed the video and let us know about these bloody squatters, what they're going to do about it. And I'm not happy with the police not turning up. That is disgraceful.